What's good? What's good? I was just browsing YouTube like I do. It's one of my addictions and my dopamine drivers. I like YouTube and I hate it at the same time. Anyways, I came across this clip. I'm vaguely familiar with these guys and their podcasts, but I don't subscribe and I haven't really watched much. But this clip made me think of a relationship that I had, my last relationship that ended years ago. I've been single like a Pringle for a hot while, but it's all good. Um, this clip made me think of an experience that I still refer to, and it's relevant. And so I'll play the clip and then talk about why I believe it's relevant to me, and just yeah. So it's the Whatever podcast, I guess. Just take a listen.
I'm just going to say this right now. Every single couple that I know that have a relationship where the woman is the more dominant person in the relationship, it never works out. Every single couple that I've known to have that sort of dynamic has either broken up in a very messy divorce or something of that sort. I'm not saying that it can't work, but I don't think that it's the majority of those types of relationships.
So any women here who have been kind of the leader or the dominant one in the relationship?
Drove me to hell, drove me crazy. I wanted to leave. It was horrible.
It drove you to hell.
Yeah.
Was it because he was lacking in some way, or at least you thought you wanted to be that way?
I thought I wanted to be that way. I've had 3 monogamous relationships in my life. They were all so sweet, so kind, treated me like a princess. But essentially, the masculinity was lacking, like big. There was no leadership, there was no direction. I had to fulfill the nurturing role and then the planning role, and there was no establishment of like what our roles were.
I'm just
All right, okay. So I believe, unfortunately, that women are to a larger degree being subjected to propaganda and brainwash and are falling for it. And so I'm not attacking them. I feel bad for them because I just see a future of no fulfillment and no purpose for them, and just that, and just how I talk about how men are going through stuff right now and the dating market is all messed up and how it's all intentional. So men and women have shared challenges, but also unique challenges within our culture and our society. But that part about how the woman had mentioned that there was no leadership in her relationship, that is a common theme you will hear from unhappy women, is that their partner just doesn't lead. And in my last relationship, there was this one sort of situation that stuck with me. And when things stick with me, sometimes that my brain tells me, like, hold on to this. I was dating this young she was half Brazilian, half New Zealander. So like she had the Brazilian booty with a New Zealand accent. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And she was like, young. And anyways, the relationship didn't work out because I just have been a broke dude for a long time, and functionally that's not good. I do want to have a family, and I'm holding myself back and I'm working on it. But anyways, we didn't end on super bad terms. We ended on good terms, and I'll get to that. Anyways, okay. So when we started dating, she had a job that was like an okay job, whatever. But she didn't like it, and so I helped her to find a new job. I was like, okay, well, what do you want to do? What can you do? Anyways, so she found a new job, and then that job was good. And I actually kind of encouraged her to job hop. So over the year and a half, 2 years, year and a half we were together, I think she had 3 jobs. But at the beginning of the relationship, she had an issue with showing up to work on time. She would have an alarm go off and then hit the snooze button multiple times. And I'm like, I'm a one snooze button person. And sometimes I don't even use the snooze, but I grant myself one snooze button. If you hit it more, if you hit it more than 3 times, you're doing things wrong. And when she would stay over at my place and then disrupt my sleep schedule with her multiple snoozes, and then tell me about how she's late to work and how she's rushing, I put my foot down and I said, look, if you're going to stay over here, here's the new rule. You get one snooze. And when that one snooze is up, you got to get up. And she was like, okay. The next morning, her alarm goes off and she gets that one snooze. And I'm like, okay, I'm whatever. I grant her the one snooze. And she's not getting out of bed. And I'm still semi awake and she's not getting out of bed. And I was like, okay, it's been about 5 minutes. So that second snooze is going to go off in a few minutes if she doesn't get up. And she's asleep, but I know that she's asleep. And I can't explain why I never. Anyways, my idea was I grunted really loud. I was like, and she kind of woke up, and then she's like, and I was like, you're about to hit your second snooze. And she was like, oh, okay. And, and she was a little flustered and whatnot. And she went to work. And, even when she got back from work, she was a little flustered from me kind of encouraging and forcing that accountability. But that's leadership in a relationship. And in this day and age where this video, if it were to be viral, I'd be called misogynist for the topic of this video. And that's why men are shying away from being leaders in their relationships, because everything's fucking misogyny. But no, it's just leadership. It's just setting boundaries and holding people accountable. And then following through with your actions if you set a boundary and people cross it. So, for example, had she repeated the bad behavior, or had she not been able to accommodate the one snooze, I would have just said, okay, you can't stay over at my place anymore. I'll stay over at your place when, I know we can sleep in or whatever. But so it's first you have to set the boundary. Then you have to outline the outcome if the boundary is crossed, and then you have to follow through if the boundary is crossed. Might as well just go full misogynist while we're at it. And that is just like raising children. That is just leadership in general. And I believe that men have a responsibility more to be leaders. I said it. Totally take what you want from that, because I know it could be taken out of context if this went viral, but that's men, we have a responsibility to be leaders. I call it the blessing of the burden. And the blessing of the burden is actually a talk. I have this talk that I've been building in my head for years. If I ever have a son, and it's going to be this, we're going to be around a campfire, and I'm going to explain to him masculinity and how it is really cool to be powerful and to have this natural charisma that comes from being an actualized man centered in his masculinity, because it is a power. When I'm centered, when I'm grounded, people are drawn to me. And I've known that for a long time. That's why I pursued the education that I pursued. That's why I'm continuing to do the self-work that I'm doing, because I understand that I have this blessing, but I also understand that it is a burden, because it's not fun to be the leader sometimes when you have to enforce boundaries and expectations, it's not fun. Because my girlfriend she was pissed at me when she got home from work. Oh, but ultimately, let me get to the ending goal. As we were breaking up, she ended up getting a job at a food bank where we were volunteering. Her and we would every other week go deliver food boxes to people. I've done all kinds of volunteering activities throughout my life, different kinds. I'm volunteering at a humane society currently. So when I, talk shit about virtue signalers and keyboard warriors and say, go volunteer, I'm trying to walk the walk. Anyways, enough self-flattery. Okay, so she's getting a job at this food bank, and that was really cool. And a few months later, after the breakup was formal and official and we hadn't seen each other for a while, we reconnected, went and had coffee, and she had told me that she actually got another job at another food bank, but it was like a promotion, and she was actually like the community director. So she climbed the ladder really quickly, and she said she was loving the job, and she thanked me. She thanked me for enforcing the boundary of waking up on time and getting to work on time, and for those little things. And so that's like a memory that sticks with me, because after a breakup, an ex thanked me for a way in which I helped them in their life. And so, ladies, like the woman in that video admitted, ask yourself if maybe you want some leadership in your life. I know it's crazy, but I'll end the video shortly. And this is a general statement. Outliers exist in the pursuit of actualization. Be who you want. However, in general, the best place for a feminine presence to flourish is when it is coexisting with an actualized masculine presence. And if you're a woman who wants to flourish in your femininity, look for a man who is grounded and centered in his masculinity. All right, I'll end it there, y'all. Much love.